I am getting ready to sew on the last strip. You have been given 2 full strips of the last fabric and a smaller piece. You will need that smaller piece to complete the 4th block. The 2 strips are not quite big enough to do all 4 blocks. When I'm done with this one, I will trim it and press it at the ironing board. And this is what my completed block looks like. So we started with this taupe fabric and we added it twice. Then we moved to the smaller scale print for the off-white fabric and we added it twice. Then we moved to the medium scale taupe fabric, added it 2 times. We turned it again and we added the medium scale off-white fabric. Then we repeated the process with the larger print with the taupe background and then the larger print with the off-white background. These blocks will be paired with the blocks that have printing on them, and it will give us a nice log cabin look. One thing that you might want to know is the reason why I chose a log cabin block. I thought that for Sacred Selections, this was an ideal block. Generally, the center of a log cabin block is much smaller. We're making it bigger because the center blocks are bigger on this portion of the quilt too. This block in a log cabin block generally represents the fireplace of a home, the warmth of a home, the warmth of family. Half of a log cabin block is done with lighter fabrics and the other half is done with darker, and generally they graduate in scale. The lighter side of a log cabin block represents the daytime, the sun shining on the house. The darker side represents nighttime with the moon shining on the house, the comfort of home and the joy of home. And that's why I chose a log cabin block. Traditionally, it just seemed appropriate to be used for Sacred Selections. One point that I want to make with you is that if you try to look at the front of your block to figure out which one is supposed to be sewn on next, it can be very confusing. And that's because we are sewing it upside down. I always get it wrong if I turn it right side up and try to figure out what goes on next. So as long as I follow the rule that the last strip I sewed always goes at the bottom, then I seem to stay out of trouble that way. So I hope that helps you too.